Invite a Budget Blinds style consultant to show you how to transform your rooms just by changing your window coverings. Canada's #1 choice for window coverings. Visit budgetblinds.ca today.
Welcome back. We continue our Alberta election coverage today as incumbent MLA and Vermilion Lloydminster PC candidate Richard Starkey made a visit to our Newcap News studio earlier this week. Here's what he had to say about the issues that local residents are bringing up on the campaign trail.
Well, there's a variety of issues, some of them with, provincial reach, with regards to questions about the budget or some of the questions about our overall fiscal situation and the measures that were announced in the budget to address those. Some of them are much more local in terms of, questions like, seniors housing and transportation concerns, transportation issues. And some of them are very individual concerns. People have, a specific difficulty that they're having, and so that's very much like the work that you do as an MLA, where you're helping people navigate through, the whole government system, which can be complex and can be a little difficult. So it really ranges. Here in Lloydminster and in Vermilion, the one thing that I am hearing a lot about have been the recent announcements for Pioneer Lodge as well as the Vermilion Valley Lodge. These are very positive. 3 years ago when I ran, I said that, seniors really deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And in order to do that, we need to find ways to make sure that they can stay alongside their spouses, close to family and friends and in the communities that they helped build. And in the announcements for both the Valley Lodge and Pioneer Lodges are going to allow more of our seniors to do that. And so that's a very positive thing, and I've received a lot of positive feedback for that.
Now, I know we should never really rely on them, but recent polls have the PC party, the Wildrose and NDP at a pretty close race right now. Is any of that in the back of your head when you are campaigning or going door to door?
Not really. It really doesn't change what I do on a day-to-day basis. And, quite frankly, the only poll that really matters, and it's been said many times, is the one that's taken on election day. And, we know that there are a number of different polling methodologies, some of which are more valid than others. And that certainly in the last election and in many recent elections, not just in Alberta, the polls have been, not very accurate in terms of predicting the results. So, no, I don't, quite frankly, spend a great deal of time. To me, the response I get knocking on doors or meeting people in various locations is the kind of polling that's important to me, because it tells me what the voters in this constituency are thinking and what they're telling me, and so that's what I rely on.
Why the PC party? Why should residents go on May 5th and vote for the PCs and Richard Starkey?
Well, as far as the party goes, we have a plan that is a balanced, prudent plan going forward in terms of balancing cuts in expenditures, which need to be brought down to closer to the national average. We are spending much higher than the national average, but also increases in revenue in very carefully selected areas that allow for a fiscal foundation that is more stable and much more resilient to the fluctuations in world oil prices, which we know we can't control, nor can we predict them. And so only the PC party has got a balanced plan to do that, using the right balance of both expenditure cuts and revenue increases. Specifically with regards to candidacy, in the last 3 years, I've been privileged to serve this community and the constituency. I've developed, I think, a higher degree of skill and respect amongst both my colleagues and members of the opposition. And those are relationships that are important to your effectiveness as an MLA when you're dealing both with local and provincial issues. I've enjoyed it. It's been a great privilege for me, and I would certainly be honored if the voters were to elect to return me to Edmonton.
And if you'd like to see that full interview, we'll have that online on our Facebook page tonight. Now, continuing with the provincial election, as it draws near, the Wildrose campaign office is finally open, with Danny Hozak running for the Vermilion Lloydminster riding.
Well, as you know, we're about halfway through what is, as you probably know, an illegal election. It was called on relatively short notice. We're halfway into it. Basically, we're talking to people. We're trying to show them the options they have. We're the only party that's promising to roll back the current PC tax increases. And
Hozak says Wildrose will focus on eliminating Alberta's deficit, as well as lay off 1,600 higher-level executives.
Alberta doesn't need more revenue. In the last 10 years, we've had at least 3 years of record revenues. What we have is a spending problem.
Hozak's campaign runs alongside PC candidate and current MLA Richard Starkey, as well as NDP candidate Saba Mosagizi. Well, a Canadian rock icon took the stage at the Lloydminster exhibition grounds last night. At 67 years old, Burton Cummings proved that he still has his own way to rock. Stacey Comer has the story.
Burton Cummings thrilled the crowd playing his classic and familiar songs. This was the first time he's performed in Lloydminster and says he enjoys playing in communities of any size.
A lot of people with a lot of hit records don't go to the small towns, so it's a bit of an extra treat for the people, and I like the attitude of people in small towns.
Break it to them gently, or when you tell my mom and dad.
Cummings says he feeds off the audience.
To me, it's the same as being plugged into a wall. You do get that energy. It may be invisible, but that doesn't make it any less real. For me, we try and structure the show so that at certain points in the show, there's 4 or 5 big hit records in a row, and that kind of builds momentum. You know, you can hear the applause growing a little more, and I mean, who wouldn't like that?
I really liked the fact that he would tell you the history of it, so I found that really fascinating, where his ideas and his creativity come from and the stories that he told that came before the song. It was really interesting.
And can you pick a favorite song or a favorite moment in the show?
These eyes. For sure. He was spectacular. I knew he was a talented musician, but until you see his fingers running over the keys like that, like, wow, what a pile of piano lessons. It was really, really amazing.
These eyes.
We still sound like the records, and it recreates those memories in people's heads. It's more special every year. I'm so grateful to be healthy and still hitting my notes, you know, and still have people that want to see us.
Stacey Comer, Newcap News.
And on the heels of the Burton Cummings concert, Lloyd Ex is bringing in yet another big name act whose music spans generations.
We have the Country Music Hall of Fame most recent winners, the Oakridge Boys. They are planned and booked into here for June the 4th. An opening for them is going to be Hey Romeo. It is going to be a great country evening.
Sidoric says their connections help him bring bigger names each year to the local stage.
We put a lot of good shows on throughout the year. We have our Chuck White and Cabarets, we have our fair entertainment. I've got to know a good portion of the booking agents around both North America and in Canada to book these acts with.